It's your boy Big Baby. Support sporting icons for latest boxing news. Cheeseburger.
So Triple G is now the benchmark for 2018 for American viewed event, with a peak of 1.36 million viewers on HBO to watch Triple G against Vanes Martirosyan. So I really have to give it up to the American boxing fans, where I have been guilty of allowing some of my comment section, certain Americans who have been spoiling it for the rest of America, to almost pervert my mind for me thinking that American boxing fans are in fact dumb. Not all, of course, I've always known not all, but the majority. That's kind of where I give it because of my own comment section. But clearly this kind of thing shows that America is not dictated by the racial boxing fans. It's not dictated to by those who live in a cloud and are always negative about boxing. Because if I was an American and I'm clicking on one of these other channels who just talk about Wilder, Spence, Charlo, Crawford, and that's it, and keep talking about other channels being coons and other people being coons and moaning about Eddie Hearn and moaning about this and moaning about that, I'll be thinking, man, boxing is depressing, boxing sucks. That's what I would be thinking. But of course it's not quite that way, is it? This viewership here for Triple G shows that. Now of course these other channels, they are going to start saying, well, it's a racist thing because Triple G's a white guy. But listen, he's a foreigner in your country. He's a foreigner and does viewing figures like that against a guy who, let's be honest, a lot of people didn't particularly want to see him fight. But he gets viewing figures like that. How does this fight outdo Wilder versus Ortiz? Wilder versus Ortiz is a massive fight, huge fight. But yet Triple G against a virtual nobody. Yes, okay, his opponent is American. He doesn't sound American, but he is. Yet it beats that. And it's amazing. So as I said, I've allowed myself to be perverted by my own comment section from a lot of American fans who are just complete racists, is complete arseholes, to be perfectly honest. And I know where they get it from. They're getting it from these other ones who are just negative. And clearly America does not allow these channels to win. Americans are, for the most part, not brainwashed by these guys. And as I said, boxing is much bigger than YouTube. But yet these other channels will say, you know, that they own the narrative on boxing. They've actually said this to me. They will make racial videos. You know, they decide who's going to be a star and who isn't. They decide who they're going to influence for high viewership figures. They decide what fights should be made. They dictate what happens in America. Well, clearly you don't. America has spoken. America has overruled you, and shame on me and shame on a lot of other people for thinking that these people are actually listening to you, because they're not. They're really not. And at times, you know, we really have to, I forget sometimes that there are, in fact, a lot of great American boxing channels out there who talk about the news. Now, of course, that's not to say that I agree with everything that they say, because I don't. Of course I don't. But we don't fall out over it, you know, and they don't agree with everything that I say. They should, but they don't. Of course, I'm joking about that bit. But of course, I'm talking about excellent channels who do not just talk about race and call people coons and throw other fighters under the bus just because they don't like their particular fighter. And of course, I'm talking like excellent channels like Hitman Boxing. You all know I'm a huge fan of his. Casual Boxing Talk, of course. Travis Gotti Boxing. Shady Slim, Richard Dwyer, who is actually a AJ hater, I think, because he keeps betting against him for whatever reason. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. Red Glove Militant. You've got Wrecked by McGregor. You've got Low Place. You've got Jeff Cotto. You've got Dan the Man. You've got so many of these great channels. And of course, I've probably missed a handful of channels out there. Listen, I'm not that familiar with a lot of channels on YouTube, okay? But these guys, okay, everybody's got their own biases. Everybody does, okay? I'm not saying that you should like these guys because I do. I'm not saying that because I like them then you shouldn't like them, and just because you don't like me, and whatever it may be, okay? But these guys are keeping boxing alive in America, where it's not just about racism, where they will tell the truth from their point of view, where they will talk about fights from overseas and keep their American audience updated with what's happening in the World Boxing Super Series, where they will keep them updated with what's happening here at Matchroom, with what's happening with Frank Warren and Haymaker and Cyclone Promotions and all these kind of things that's happening in America. And they're not tied to racial preference. If any of these guys do have a racial preference, they don't show it in their video. And that's what's important. And these are the people that the American audience need to listen to. They need to watch these guys. Because for a long time, as I said, I've been thinking that these other channels are perverting and just polluting the American public to being racial, to just being haters, to just being damn right nasty bastards, really, to be honest. You know, talking about plantations and racism and everyone's a coon, and if they're not a coon then they're racist, and absolute terrible, terrible stuff. And these people are bad for boxing. These people are the ones who are killing boxing over there in America. But yet these other channels like Hitman, Casual Boxing Talk, etc., these guys are the one who's keeping the flame alive. And the American fans, boxing fans who love boxing, are not listening to these other racial channels. So big up to you guys. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So again, just these kind of figures show. And the reason that I'm doing this is because what I'm hearing here on YouTube from my own comment section, that people don't like Triple G. They hate Triple G. And especially with the fact that he chose Martirosyan, because he ducked Andrade, because he ducked Charlo, even though he only had 2.5 weeks to find an opponent. So he got Martirosyan, who has had a fight in, 2 years, who is predominantly a smaller fighter. So even though nobody wanted to see it, as far as I could hear, with the comment section of haters that I see, this fight outdoes Wilder versus Ortiz. That is phenomenal, and it's shocking, to be honest. I did not expect that at all. I didn't expect that to hit more than 1 million. Honestly, I didn't. Now, imagine had that had been Triple G versus Danny Jacobs rematch against Jamal Charlo, against Billy Joe Saunders. Imagine how the viewing figures would be for that. See, again, boxing fans in America are keeping boxing alive. And big up to you for that. You're not allowing these other channels who are desperately trying to brainwash by using their gang hood mentality. You're not allowing them to pervert your mind. Why? Because you love boxing. And big up to you for that. So anyway, I'm getting that out there for you all. Not too sure why I got into the whole channel thing. The whole point of this video was to say that Triple G got 1.3 million views, which is surprising. I'm very, very surprised, considering that these other channels hate Triple G. Hate him with a passion. And they all pour cold water over Vanes Martirosyan. Well, goes to show that the American public have spoken. These other ones who think that they have a voice, you actually don't. You don't hold the narrative of boxing. You don't. At all. So, either way, big up to you guys over in America. Everybody else, of course. Obviously, most UK fans listen to me, not necessarily Americans. So, click that thumbs up, of course. Subscribe. Yes, you've done that already. Excellent stuff. Click the thumbs up while you're there. And I'll catch you all on the next video. Big up.